Hey there, it's OCB Communications. Welcome back to another review. This time of a film that I was curious about, and it's a film called While She Was Out. This is a film that stars Kim Basinger. It also has Lukas Haas from Lady in White, who was also in Solar Babies, a few other films. It also has Craig Sheffer in it, who plays Kim Basinger's abusive asshole husband. It's a very brief role, but Craig Sheffer does a good job playing a jerk-off. Jamie Starr, Leonard Wu, Luis Chavez, and it's written and directed by Susan Montford. And it's a down and dirty thriller. What I mean by down and dirty, it's got a lot of grit to it, and it's actually pretty gory. It's got some good kills, and pretty much what it is kind of like what I was talking about when I had that Q&A, where I was talking about I'd like to see a horror film where the person that's where the hero is the slasher. This is one of those movies. That's the reason why I really like this. I think this is incredibly underrated. It's a movie that barely nobody talks about. It's a film from 2009, and it features one of Kim Basinger's best performances. She's still drop-dead gorgeous as ever in this. And it's a very simple plot, but it's very engaging. It's a very... I've been using the same words in a lot of the reviews, and I try not to do that, but captivating is another one. Definitely does capture your attention and keeps it. It starts out kind of like, feels like sort of a Lifetime movie, but then it kicks into high gear, and it really goes for the jugular. And I really like that about it. What happens is Kim Basinger is this mother. She's wife to a husband who's abusive to her, and she's a loving mother, and she goes out on the night before Christmas to try to get some gifts and deals with the rush and everything. And she doesn't know how to fend for herself. She doesn't know any of this stuff. But then she's thrown into a night of terror where she has to survive. And what happens is she gets accosted by these asshole punks who their leader is actually, of all people, Lukas Haas, who actually does a great job. He pulls it off. Actually, one of the best performances I've seen of his career. And these young punks are mad at her because she put a note on their car because they double parked in a parking space. She put a note in the window shield wiper saying, "You're being assholes," pretty much. And they take offense to that, and they get trying to beat her up, try to get her back for that, and even try to kill her. And the security guard comes in, the mall security guard, tries to stop it, but he gets his head blown off. Practical, too. And it's a pretty good headshot. And that's another thing about this movie I really like. Tons of practical gore. There's no CGI in this. It's practical gore. And so what happens is, now she's on the run. She tried to drive away from the thugs in her car. She crashes the car. Almost gets decapitated by a piece of log because she crashes into like a logging like a construction site. So almost a piece of lumber almost decapitates her, and she tries to get away. They get her. Looks like they're gonna kill her, but she fights back, hits a guy with a wrench from the toolbox, and then this other guy tries to go after her, but she hits him, and then the guy falls back, and then sends another one of their accomplices, one of the gang members. A guy who was sympathetic to Kim Basinger, didn't want to kill her. It's like, let's just go, man. Let's go to the beach. I want to go to the beach. I want to, just let's get out of here. And Lukas Haas just can't let things go. It's like she's a witness and all this kind of stuff. And he just, it's just a sadistic, creepy fuck. And so they end up. So the one guy who was sympathetic, he dies, the first one to die, but it's like by accident. His friend like hits him, and then he falls through like a hole in one of the construction site areas and breaks his neck. So now Lukas Haas and the rest of the guys think that Kim Basinger did it, but really she was just defending herself, smacking the other guy with a wrench, and then the other guy was a casualty, so to speak, of the other guy getting hit with a wrench. So in a way, Kim Basinger kind of did it, but really the other guy's just being clumsy as fuck. But they don't look at it that way. And so they want revenge for one of their fallen homie, so to speak. It was a homeboy. And what follows is a very harrowing, very suspenseful, very crowd-pleasing, very entertaining chase, for survival, where Kim Basinger is chased by these thugs, Lukas Haas and these other guys, and they're trying to kill her. It's the middle of the Pacific Northwest in the woods, which I think it's in the Pacific Northwest, but it's at least it's somewhere definitely where there's a wooded, there's a lot of trees and it's in the wilderness. She's going running around the wilderness, and the only thing that she has to fend for herself, the only thing she has to help her survive is a toolbox. And what she does is uses all of the things in the toolbox to fend for herself, to survive, and does it in ingenious slasher movie fashion, which is really enjoyable, especially if you're a fan of slasher movies. So she goes in, she takes out one guy. I think she takes a tire iron, beats the shit out of one guy. She puts like the tire iron, like there's one, I think it's like I think she puts, yeah, she like slams the tire iron in the guy's face. Do you see it? It's brutal. And it's just like bam, it fucking kills his ass with the tire iron. Another guy gets a screwdriver like through the back of his neck and like through his mouth, like she like shoves it like through his neck and like out his mouth. And it's practical effect as well. She takes his ass out. And I'm trying to think of the other guy. She takes another guy out with she killed. There's a lot of some good kills. She starts stalking them one by one with only the items that she has in her toolbox. I think there's some that I might have forgotten about because I did watch this like almost a month ago. I should have reviewed it earlier while I still had it fresh on my mind. But if I forgot something, you'll find out what I'm talking about when you see the movie. Because ultimately, she ends up... The last one left is Lukas Haas. She tries to get him with a flare, but it doesn't really work. But pretty much what she does is starts trying to sex him up, distract him, and then she shoots him right in the chest just before he was about to climax. And then she goes home, and this is one part of the movie I didn't really care for because this is one part of the movie that was like, really, that sucks. I don't want this type of ending. Where it shows where she just had enough of Craig Sheffer's shit, and she points the gun at his head, and then end credits. So she lost her fucking mind. Great. I don't really like that ending. She has, she says goodnight to her kids, and then points a gun at Craig Sheffer. It would have been better if she just calls him out. Says, you ever talk to me like that in front of my kids. No, or I'll beat your ass. Or beats him up, or something that's not, a one-way ticket to fucking crazy town and jail. Because that's pretty much what that is. I'm going to shoot him in the head, and that just goes a little bit too far. I understand they're going for shock and awe, but that's a little bit too much for my tastes. But either way, despite that, I still really enjoyed this film, and I think it's a very underrated movie. 86 minutes. It's very fast-paced. It goes by at a very quick speed. It's simple, but that's to its benefit. It's a simple, down-to-earth, gritty, down and dirty thriller, and it with a slasher element to it that really makes it refreshing and enjoyable. So yeah, if you're a fan of... And Guillermo del Toro actually helped produce the film, which is pretty cool. And Susan Montford, I think, did an excellent job directing the film. I thought she also did a good job with the screenplay. And yeah, it's not that long of a review, but like I said, the movie's very simple. It's just Kim Basinger. She's shopping the night before Christmas. She's stressed out. She sees some assholes double parking, leaves a note. The guys find out. They're a bunch of thugs. Try to kill her. They try to beat her up or kill her. And the security cop comes in. He gets gunned down. And then the guys try to take out the known witnesses, Kim Basinger. She takes out one guy. They're trying to rape her. She hits one guy with a wrench. The other guy falls to his death. Then the last three, the thugs, try to go after her, and in the wilderness, and all she's got to fend for herself is whatever's in the toolbox, whatever in the toolbox that she's carrying around, and she kicks a lot of ass, and she takes a lot of names, and she fucks these guys up in royal fashion, in slasher fashion, which I really liked. It's very unique. It's exactly what I was looking for, a film where the hero is a slasher, and that is what this technically is. Kim Basinger is the heroine, and she's the slasher. She takes these guys out one by one in slasher movie fashion, except for maybe Lukas Haas, which I thought that's another part of the film I was kind of let down by. I know it's trying to be more realistic, but it's just shooting him in the chest. I mean, it should have been a headshot, something a little bit more of more bang for your buck, so to speak. A little bit more of an explosive ending or climax rather than just pop the shot to his chest. But that being said, I thought this was still a really good movie, and if I was gonna rate While She Was Out out of 5 stars, 4.5 out of 5, just for those little things. The ending, I didn't really care for the way they handled that, and the death of Lukas Haas, I thought that could have been handled a little bit better. But other than that, I really enjoyed this flick. I thought it was well directed. I thought it was well written, well edited, well paced, and I thought it had a very unique hook, very unique feel to it, and a great story, a great down and dirty tale of survival in the wilderness with nothing but a toolbox to fend for yourself. It was very refreshing. Um, More people should be talking about this movie, in my opinion. And if you're a fan of Kim Basinger, definitely give it a look. If any of this sounds interesting to you, definitely give it a look. Yeah, really enjoyed this one. And I was looking forward to it too, so I'm really glad it wasn't a disappointment. Anyway, thank you for watching my review of While She Was Out, and I will see you guys later. See ya.